Sometimes in our own lives we see our limitations, we see how small we think we are and how limited we think we are, but God is able to do great things with little people. You don't have to be a mighty person for God to do mighty things through you. And so here's Gideon receiving this call from God. He eventually raises up an army to come against the Midianites. He responds positively to God's call. He raises up an army to go against the Midianites. And the first initial group of people that were raised up were about 32,000. Think about this, 32,000. You think that's a lot, but the Midianites had 135,000. And so the 135,000 Midianites, 32,000 Israelites to fight them. So that still seemed like the odds were kind of against the Israelites. But God told Gideon, you have too many. Now think about this. They were already outnumbered, and then God said, you got too many. And so God told Gideon to tell everybody that was afraid to go home. And so as soon as Gideon announced to the army, anyone that's afraid, head home, 22,000 of them left at that moment. Think about that. So 22,000 were too afraid to even fight. And so now he's left with 10,000, okay? And so he's thinking, my goodness, we've got 135,000 Midianites approximately. We've got now 10,000 Israelite soldiers. It would seem like, you know what, maybe God's going to do a miracle with this, but God then spoke and said, there's still too many, okay? Think about this, because I don't want to win this battle and have Israel think that they did it themselves. I want to get all the glory from this. And so he said, I want you to take them to a particular spring, which, by the way, happens to be this spring that we're looking at right here, okay? And so he says, bring all these 10,000 to the spring, and I want them to drink from the waters. He gave them no instructions about how to drink. Watch how they drink and separate them. And the people that bend down and drink from the water, lapping it up like a dog with their heads down, then separate them into one group. And those that pull up the water and cup it in their hands and drink it, separate them into another group. And so there are two groups of separation there. One, again, that's lapping like a dog. The other that's cupping with their hands and drinking vigilantly. And only 300 of them picked up the water with their hands and drank vigilantly. And God said, I'm going to take those 300 and use those 300 to conquer the Midianites. And all the others were sent home. And so now Gideon has gone from 32,000 to 22,000 to 10,000, now to 300. And God says, with these 300, I'm going to win this battle. And he divided them into three companies. He gave them a trumpet in one hand and gave them a torch and a sort of a jar, if you will, in the other hand. And the torches were to be lit. He divided them into three groups. And then they established their battle plan heading to the north. The Midianites were coming from this direction, and so they're going against them in battle in three different companies. And he says, when I blow my trumpet, then I want all of you to blow your trumpets and break your jars so that these torches will shine, and it will look like there's a massive number of people when in reality there's only 300. So it was an amazing strategy that God gave him that would allow him to experience this victory. And so they went on and they defeated the Midianites in an amazing battle, and God conquered, allowed them to conquer. So it was a wonderful event that proved the fact that God can take a small person and do great things with them. God can take a small group and do great things with them.